Boxing fans around the world, get ready, because the whispers are growing louder. The unthinkable might actually happen. Floyd Money Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao 2, possibly in 2026. Nearly a decade after their first historic showdown, talks of a rematch between two of the greatest fighters of this era have set the boxing world on fire once again. What began as casual banter has now evolved into genuine speculation. And if it happens, it could be the biggest comeback event in combat sports history. Let's break down everything. The rivalry, the legacy, the mind games, the possibilities, and what a second fight would really look like between these two legends. The legacy that refuses to fade. To understand why this fight matters so much, you have to go back to May 2nd, 2015, the night the world stopped for Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Why? It was billed as the fight of the century. Every sports bar was packed. Every celebrity was ringside. And pay-per-view numbers shattered records. Floyd Mayweather, the defensive genius, entered the ring as an undefeated tactician, a man who made world-class opponents miss punches by millimeters. Across from him stood Manny Pacquiao, the electrifying southpaw from the Philippines, an 8-division world champion who fought like controlled chaos, known for his speed, power, and relentless heart. The first fight wasn't the all-out war fans hoped for. It was a chess match. Mayweather neutralized Pacquiao's aggression with surgical precision, winning by unanimous decision and proving that his defense and timing could dismantle even the most explosive offense in boxing. But despite Mayweather's dominance, that fight left fans wanting more. Many believed Pacquiao wasn't at full health. He entered with a torn shoulder that limited his output. The question lingered for years. What if Pacquiao had been 100% that night? What if we got the version of Pacquiao who destroyed Cotto, Hatton, and Thurman? Now, with both fighters older, wiser, and far beyond their physical peaks, that question still sparks debate. And that's exactly why fans are buzzing about a potential rematch. Why 2026 could be the year rumors of Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Two have surfaced multiple times since their first encounter. From exhibition offers to surprise face-offs in Japan and Dubai, each time fans shrugged it off as hype. Until now, 2026 marks a symbolic year. By then, Mayweather will be nearing 50, while Pacquiao will be in his late 40s. Both have flirted with retirement and exhibition bouts, but neither has officially closed the door on one last professional contest. In recent interviews, Pacquiao has openly said he still wants to fight Mayweather again, claiming he can beat him even at this stage. His hunger hasn't faded. He's been training, coaching, and even sparring young lions to stay sharp. Mayweather, on the other hand, has remained in shape, still training, still making millions through exhibition bouts across the world. For him, it's not about legacy anymore. It's about control, reputation, and of course money. And what fight could generate more money than a Mayweather versus Pacquiao rematch? Even if it's an exhibition, the global attention would be enormous. But if it's a sanctioned professional fight, that would shake the sport to its core. The money motivation. We all know Floyd Mayweather's nickname, Money. And it's not just a brand, it's who he is. Every move he makes is strategic. Every fight is a financial masterclass. The first Mayweather versus Pacquiao bout generated over $600 million in total revenue. To this day, it remains the highest-grossing fight in boxing history. Even with both fighters past their prime, a rematch could easily bring in another hundreds of millions in pay-per-view and sponsorship deals. Mayweather understands this better than anyone. And for Pacquiao, who has stayed active in public life and politics, a massive payday could also be appealing. But make no mistake, Manny's motivation goes beyond money. For him, it's unfinished business. He's never been able to let go of that first loss. He believes he was cheated by fate, not by Floyd, but by circumstance. The injury, the timing, the politics, all of it left him unsatisfied. A second fight could give him peace and a chance to finally rewrite history. Comparing the versions, then versus now. The 2015 versions of Mayweather and Pacquiao were extraordinary. But the 2026 versions would be completely different. Mentally sharper, physically slower, and far more strategic. Mayweather's strengths have always been his defense. timing, and ring IQ. Even today, his ability to read opponents is unmatched. He doesn't need power. He beats you with precision, patience, and poise. Pacquiao's strengths have always been speed, footwork, and volume punching. While age has slowed him down, his explosiveness and fighting heart are still there. His last major performance, against Keith Thurman in 2019, proved he could still compete with younger fighters at the elite level. But can either of them summon the same energy again? That's the big question. Age changes everything. Reaction time, recovery, endurance, all of it fades. So this wouldn't be a fight about athleticism. It would be a battle of brains and pride. Mayweather would rely on control, accuracy, and counterpunching. Pacquiao would look to overwhelm with angles, movement, and aggression. It would be less about who's faster and more about who's smarter now. The fans still care. Most legends fade quietly, but these two are different. They've transcended boxing. Pacquiao is a global icon, not just in the Philippines, but across the world. He's inspired millions with his rags-to-riches story, his humility, and his relentless spirit. Every time he steps into the ring, it's personal. Mayweather, on the other hand, represents perfection. Love him or hate him, his record speaks for itself. 50 wins, 0 losses. He's built a legacy of dominance, discipline, and complete control inside the ring. Fans might boo him, but they always watch him. That's why even after all these years, the idea of a rematch still excites people. It's nostalgia. It's pride. It's a clash of two worlds that defined an era. Skill versus speed, brains versus heart, defense versus destruction. Could it actually happen? The logistics are tricky. Both fighters are retired, but both have stayed active enough to make it feasible. The key lies in how the fight would be presented. Option 1. A professional sanctioned bout. 12 rounds, official judges, and a legitimate winner. That would be historic, but risky, especially considering their age. Option 2. A high-profile exhibition. No official judges, but full speed and real punches. That's more likely. It's safe, it's profitable, and it allows both fighters to showcase their skills without the pressure of a permanent record. Either way, the promotional build-up would be massive. The pre-fight press conferences alone would draw millions of views. The old tension between Mayweather's confidence and Pacquiao's humility would resurface, two personalities that couldn't be more different, yet forever connected by their shared history. The mind games begin if there's one thing Floyd Mayweather loves, it's psychological warfare. He doesn't just beat you in the ring, he beats you before you even step inside it. Expect Floyd to play mind games, mock Pacquiao's past injuries, and remind everyone of his undefeated record. He'll talk about how old lions shouldn't challenge kings. He'll flash the watches, the cars, the private jets, the lifestyle that screams control. Pacquiao, as always, will take the high road. He'll smile, stay humble, and let his gloves do the talking. But deep down, he'll want this more than anything. He's been haunted by that first loss for years. And for a warrior like him, redemption is everything. What each fighter must do to win if this fight happens. Both men will have to adapt to their new realities. For Mayweather, the strategy is clear. Stay patient, minimize exchanges, and capitalize on Pacquiao's mistakes. He doesn't need to prove he's the faster man, just the smarter one. His job will be to slow the fight down, control distance, and frustrate Pacquiao. For Pacquiao, the key will be pace and unpredictability. He has to throw combinations, keep moving, and never let Floyd settle. He can't outbox him. He has to outfight him. Make it messy. Make it uncomfortable. Force Mayweather into exchanges he doesn't want. But here's the twist. Both fighters now know each other's tricks. There are no secrets left. Every adjustment will be mental, not physical. And that's what makes this hypothetical rematch fascinating. It's a chess match between two grandmasters. What it means for boxing if Mayweather versus Pacquiao 2 happens. It won't just be a fight, it'll be a cultural event. A bridge between generations. For the older fans, it's nostalgia, a final farewell to the golden era. For the younger fans, it's a rare chance to see two living legends share the ring again. The build-up alone would reignite global attention on boxing. Every outlet, every podcast, every sports show would dissect it. And if it delivers, even halfway, it could become the most watched combat event of the decade. Because in the end, boxing is about moments. And Mayweather versus Pacquiao II would be a moment to remember. Final thoughts, Floyd. Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are more than fighters. They're time capsules, living symbols of greatness, rivalry, and evolution. Their first fight gave us closure on one era. But a rematch in 2026 could give us something even more powerful. Reflection. Two men, older but still proud, stepping into the ring not to prove who's better, but to remind the world who they are. It wouldn't just be about belts or records. It would be about legacy, about pride, about answering one last question before the curtain falls on two legendary careers. So will it happen? No one knows for sure. But one thing's